Let's see this example 3.10. A resistance of R ohm draws current from a potentiometer. So this R ohm draws a current from a potentiometer. The potentiometer has total resistance R0 ohm. So total resistance is R0 ohm. A voltage V is supplied to the potentiometer. Derive an expression for the voltage across R when sliding contact is in the middle of the potentiometer. So let us see the diagram. So this is the diagram. So there is a resistance R that is drawing current from the potentiometer, that is drawing some current. Total resistance is R naught for this potentiometer. A voltage V is supplied to this potentiometer. Derive an expression for voltage across R. So we have to measure this voltage across this R when sliding contacts in the middle of the potentiometer. So this sliding contact jockey is in the middle. Okay, so that is our problem. So we have to calculate the potential across R when this sliding contacts is in the middle. Now, while the slide is in the middle of the potentiometer, half of its resistance will be between points A and B. How can we say that? Because the wire is uniform, half resistance on this side, half resistance on this side. So this was point AB and this is point C. So total resistance is R naught. So resistance of this point to this point half is R naught by 2. So this is R naught by 2. Hence the total resistance between A and B, say R1, will be given by the following expression. So how can we get the total resistance R1? Simply using the parallel combination. Simply using the parallel combination of resistance, 1 upon R1 is equal to 1 upon R. This is the resistance of the that is connected, external resistance, and resistance of the potentiometer R0 by 2. So after calculating, R1 is equal to R0R, R0 plus 2R. So this we get. So this is the resistance, total resistance in parallel that we get. The total resistance between A and C will be the sum of resistance A and B and C. That means now we have resistance, this much resistance for parallel. Now this is the equivalent resistance is R1. This is A, this is B, this is C. So now total resistance, this was R1, this R1. So now the total resistance is R1 plus R naught by 2. This was also R naught by 2. So total resistance is R1 plus R0 by 2. So first, that is quite simple, that first we have calculated the parallel resistance as we do in normal circuits, then added the rest half of the resistance. So that is the total resistance R1 plus R0 by 2. Now the current, what is the current? So current is simply we know V is equal to IR. So I is equal to V upon R. So total resistance is R1 plus R0 by 2. Let us put the value of this R0, this R1. So I is equal to V upon R1 is simply R0R divided by R0 plus 2R plus this R0. So this is the value of current that we get. After solving this, we get this 2V upon 2R1 plus R0. Once we start solving and then putting the value of this R1 into this. So we put the values here. So the voltage V1 taken from the potentiometer will be the product of current I and resistance R1. So let us take the first voltage. So this was the potential or the current flowing. Now the let us say first potential that would be V is equal to I R1. So potential calculated was 2V upon 2R1 plus R0. Now into resistance R1 for the first case when it is connected to the half. In that case, substituting the value of R1, so V1 is 2V upon 2, this is the value of R1 plus R0 into R1. So this is R1 as well. So when you solve this equation, so you get potential 2VR upon 2R plus R0 plus 2R. So that becomes 4R. So potential drop is 2VR upon R0 plus 4R. So in this way we solve this numerical. So you have to do some calculations on your own. So please do those calculations. And now this chapter is completed. Let us move to our next chapter, chapter 4, moving charges and magnetism. So in this chapter we will be seeing that how charges, when they are moving, they produce magnetic fields. So this is the whole idea about this chapter. So let us start this chapter. So this is some introduction. Please read this introduction. So I am just focusing on some important points. So Oersted concluded that moving charges or currents produce a magnetic field surrounding in the surrounding space. A very simple example of this is that when you flow some current in a wire, so you take a nail and you wrap some wire around it. When you flow current into this wire, this needle or this nail becomes magnetic. So same thing that Oersted concluded that moving charges. So in this wire, charges are moving because you know that current flow, that means charges are moving. So moving charges or current produces a magnetic field in the surrounding space. So what is the surrounding space? Surrounding space is this nail and magnetic field is generated in this nail. Now following this, there was intense experimentation, and 1864 the laws obeyed by electricity and magnetism were uniformed and formulated by James Maxwell. So this is very important to understand because it will help you in later chapters as well. So moving charges or current produces a magnetic field, while change in magnetic field produces a current. So you have to understand this thing once again. Moving charges produces magnetic field. So magnetic field is produced by moving charges or current. Similarly, change in magnetic field produces some kind of current, electrical current. So current is produced by change in magnetic field, and magnetic field is produced by a current or flowing charge carrier. Flowing charge carriers is also called current. So who saw this first? James Maxwell, and realized that electromagnetic waves. So light, he considered this as to be electromagnetic waves. So all the waves like light waves or radio waves are these kind of electromagnetic waves. So this is radio waves are also electromagnetic waves. Now here a diagram is shown. In these diagrams you can see what will happen when a current is flown. When a current is flown in some kind of wire. So this is a wire. So this pointed arrow means the wire is inside this plane or is perpendicular to the plane of this paper. Now this dot means the current is coming out of the paper. This cross means current is going inside the plane of the paper. So in that case, when current is coming out of the paper, the direction of the magnetic field is shown by these needles like this. So you see this white one is the south portion and this blue one is the north. So we can see that magnetic field is from south to north direction is somehow anti-clockwise. In this second diagram, if you see that north is here and south is on the left side. So if here we see that this direction is somehow south to north direction is somehow clockwise. At the same picture, when wire is carrying some current, here we can see that how the iron filings are arranged in some circular fashion.